Welcome to The Heaven, a 5-star Airbnb situated in Nakuru, Naka. Ample parking, tight security 24/7, smart lock on the door, homely ambience. The interior is superb, fully furnished with modern lounge, fully equipped kitchen with dishwasher, washing machine, cooker, fridge, Wi-Fi, smart TV and board games. 3-bedroom apartment, 2 master en suites, common bathroom. The Haven is located along the old Nairobi Highway. Come and enjoy the presidential stay at The Haven, where we welcome you to a home away from home.
Wow. Episode 14. We thank God for bringing us this long. We never thought we'd get here. Just finished the Love Month. Now we are at International Women's Day, or let's call it month. Here with beautiful beauty queens. I don't know how to introduce them. I think they'll introduce themselves so you can get to know them well. Probably I would start to my right.
Hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. It's such a great pleasure. My name is Triza Mohenje. Most people know me as Ivy Triza. And I'm the current Miss University Africa Kenya. So excited to be here. Thank you.
Wow, Mohenje from Kakamega.
Yes.
Karibu to the show. The episode 13, we also had some lady from Western Kenya. There's something just about
most productive county.
Asante sana. My other guests.
Thank you, Leke. Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to say thank you for being here and sharing this amazing platform with amazing souls like the two of you. My name is Grace Maganga, aka Ace Maganga. That's what most people know me. I was Miss Earth Kenya 2021, and in 2022, I was also a BIPE runners-up. And yeah, that's about my titles and my sash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, when you hear the name, most of the time, for a long time, I thought she also came from Western Maganga.
Yeah,
There's something about Bantus. You find, for example, the Kisses and Merus, the Bantus and the association. Some words, I think, even the way their pronunciation, their hunger. But anyway, today we're here to discuss pageantry. At episode 14, a lot of things have been discussed. And we want to just make sure we make it brighter, better, and understandable. Miss University, Africa, Kenya.
Yes.
How did your journey start in pageantry?
Well, it has been a beautiful journey. First, I can say I started my journey back in primary school. That's where I had passion in pageantry. Well, I gained a lot of passion when I joined secondary school. That was in Kitale School Girls. So in Form 1, I contested for Miss Kitale School Girls. I didn't win. Actually, it was a lose. I was in top 8. Then in Form 2, that was in 2017, I contested again and I won the title Miss Kitale School Girls. So this is something that made me realize that indeed there is something in me that I can just bring it out of the world and, step out of my comfort zone and believe in myself.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Let's stop at that and we'll get to know how you got into Miss University. Maganga,
Yeah.
Miss Earth, Miss BIPE. Where did the journey start?
So for me, the journey started, I don't know how to explain this because it's like in 2 sections. there's the part when I was a kid. I can say my mom played a role in it because I was born into a mom who likes fashion. She likes watching pageantry. She likes watching this stuff. So since I was young, I knew my mom wouldn't miss an episode of Tyra Banks' show. We wouldn't miss any pageant show, like if it was Miss World or Miss Universe playing, even if what time it was, I knew we are glued to the TV as a family. So for me, modeling was something I enjoy watching and I would love to venture it. But I never really thought of myself being the one on stage, you see. I would like think that these girls are just out of another world. They're like out of reach. You get? Yeah. So the more I grew up in primary school, in high school, nothing about me. When I entered campus as well, it was more of just watching the people would be saying, Grace, you love these things, because I would really be engaged in such things, but not me on the stage. Even Miss KU was there and I had an offer to be there. Then I was like, I know this. So it was after campus that I built that. My friend was like, you should try it. And I was like, I think I should just try it. So that's the second section now of my story. That's now, I can say, my journey began.
Crazy. I think one of the models that came in as a guest and her story was almost like yours, was via karaoke. Otto Avaya said her mom was a model, so she started very early because of that. But I take back, my journey in pageantry has been a long one, almost 25 years back, a quarter of a century. But when we started, it was so difficult even getting an 18, 20-year-old to be in pageant, because there was that negative perception about pageantry in African setting. So we had to go to clubs to try and find those girls to contest. I remember going into Florida for those guys my age or older. I remember Florida, both 1 and 2, Mombasa. We went to Mamba Tembo to try and get these girls who understand modeling a bit and train them. So, Madam Miss University Africa Kenya, one thing you said, you started your pageantry at Kitale. Kitale, when I was growing up, everyone knew about Kitale because all the who and who have either property or land in Kitale. So it's rural urban. So I would say you didn't grow up like most of us in the city. How did you now start learning about pageantry in that younger age?
My parents also noticed the passion that I had in pageantry, so they also encouraged me to do it. Also, my circle of friends, they were like, Ivy, you have the height, you have the,
it's always the
beauty, of course. So you can give it a try. And also, when I joined campus, this is where my friends told me that we have this different, contest. First, I want to thank Bruna Ogutu. She actually held my hand in this. That was in my first pageantry, outside pageantry, away from high school. And that is where I realized now there is something called step and turn. There's something called, the basic turns in pageantry. And I realized, so this is something like education. You have to learn step by step for you to get to where you want to get. And that is where I gained the courage to contest for Miss Cooperative University. Again, I contested twice and failed. And for the third time is when I gained the title Miss Cooperative University. And Miss Cooperative University opened another door for Miss University Africa Kenya.
Wow, at that, one of the things I keep telling models or anybody who's going into even business, politics, sometimes you don't get it at the first start. People fail and make it to at the end. Those guys who understand politics of the world, one of the greatest American presidents, Abraham Lincoln, failed in everything, failed in marriage, failed in school, and made the best American president. So again, like in pageantry, you might not win the small pageant that probably, luckily, you end up winning the Miss World pageant in your country. So Miss Grace,
Yes.
one of the things that you've spoken about is your mom was a fashionista and that got into you, but for all this time up to campus, because a lot of guests got their thing in campus.
Yeah.
It didn't hit you. Then where and when did you now go for Miss Earth? Then you went for Beauty of Africa. Where did you? Because probably you did not have. You said it wasn't meant for you when you're thinking it's somebody else.
Yes.
How did it now come and realize, I can wear this crown?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. And for me, I usually say if someone asked me to explain pageantry from my perception with one word, it will be self discovery. That's what I can say. So when I knew with the modeling background, I knew that these ladies who stand on stage for a pageant thing, they need to have a passion towards a certain cause, you know. So for me, I was like, at some point in campus still, I'll be like, even if a model, I need to have a cause and something I'm passionate about, you see. So there's this time, Miss South is not my first pageant actually. We all had those instances we failed to start with. Yeah. So there was Miss World and this other pageants, and I was like, it hasn't sparked me yet. Then there was this lady, her name was Georgina. She was Miss Landscapes Kenya, I guess 2018, 2017 there. Then she came back and she felt that she wanted to revive Miss Landscapes again. Unfortunately, it was during Corona. Yeah. So COVID played a huge part for me because I had that buffer period of like, okay, now what do I do with my life, you know? So she came and she had Miss Landscapes. So when I heard about Miss Landscapes and it was about sustainable environment, stuff like that, I was like, I think I would want that. If that is attached to this, then let me go for it. I went for it and it was my first ever pageant and I was a runners up and I was like, oh my God. Now it started looking like, oh, so it's not for the girls who come from the stars. I can also be a crown holder and all that. And I remember I really cried from there. Then I said, I am going for the next pageant now that I know I have it in me.
Yeah.
So I went for Miss Earth. Then after Miss Earth, I also won. Okay, for Miss Earth, we don't call them runners up.
Yes.
We usually have 4 winners. Yeah, so I came in as one of the winners in second place, and I was so thrilled. I was so happy. It was a turning point.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my guest in the last episode, I was just telling them one of the top 5 beauty pageant in the world, which is Miss Earth, which is number 4 biggest pageant.
Yeah.
The passion that I have about Miss Earth is extraordinary. It's the only pageant that has had a Kenya hold the crown. Madam Winnie Mwakwe in 2000, the year they started. Then for 2 years during the COVID, it's the only pageant that was able to do the event during the COVID year when they never stopped. And luckily enough, I judged the both years of COVID, the talent and creative wear, and the only judge from Africa. I don't know whether the Miss World, Miss Universe have given an African judge to be able to sit in panel. It says a lot about Miss Earth. The world is going, everyone is talking about the Earth now and global warming. 24 years ago, these Filipinos decided we're not calling it any other name but Earth. So thank you so much for choosing to go into Miss Earth after those many years.
Thank you.
Miss University, this is the only pageant that require you to be a university student to contest in. You've lost 3 times and not given hope, and you've lost 2 times and the 3rd time you got it and gone into Miss University after the COVID. You're the first model who's going to represent Kenya in Nigeria. What's your advocacy? There's too much happening in university that you're advocating for during your tenure as Miss University Kenya.
Thank you so much for that question. as Miss University Africa Kenya, my advocacy has been, or is still, women empowerment. I believe that if we continue to encourage more girls to believe in themselves and to stand up for themselves, we can have a better world where everyone can have a smile on their faces, everyone can start believing in themselves. Because if we nurture women, we have nurtured the world. Yeah, so that is what I'm really advocating for: women empowerment, especially in leadership. Personally, I'm about to I believe like being a queen is just being a leader itself. So I encourage more and more girls to believe in themselves, to step out of their comfort zones, no matter how many times we fail. Because, you know, I always say the number of times you fail, it actually builds the number of times you will win. So that is how everyone should always, you know, believe in themselves and step out of their comfort zones.
Great.
Yeah.
A number of failure makes you a bigger winner.
Yes. It's building a staircase for your winning.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
For your wins.
It reminds me of what
That's great.
Africa is global is talking about around this time. Everybody's talking about Baba failing so many times in Kenya, and now is going continental.
To be the president of the African Union.
Yeah, so it relates with exactly what you
Yeah, that's
talked
a great
about.
milestone.
Yeah. So,
Baba.
Grace,
Yes.
one very key thing. I don't know whether you grew up in the city or down in the village.
Okay.
The reason I'm asking about this is I've seen you passionate about, is it Taita or Taita Taveta? And every other time I see you doing good things, school, just development and stuff like that. So I wanted to know whether you grew up here or the love for the village drives you back home. And did you get this love during your younger age, or now when you got into pageantry and now the pageantry giving back to society send you there?
To answer that question directly before the story, it is for the love that it comes for my people back in the village. What's happened, I was born and raised in Nairobi, but both my parents come from Taita Taveta. And you see, just to give you, let me say how, proportional kind of way you can look at it. Kenya right now, we are like 46.7 million population. My people, that is the Taita Taveta County, we are below 400,000. That's one constituency, like in the western side or the central places, you see. So we are very minute in the whole Kenyan statistics. And I grew up knowing that I need to be, I need to place my people in a higher place in Kenya and all that. And as she said, being a beauty queen, you quickly realize the moment that crown is in your head, even if you don't have the crown, you quickly realize you're a leader. You're thrown in spaces. You have to show your empowerment skills, your ability to, lift other people in situations as well. And for me, there's also, I think it was Vibe. A question was asked to me. My question was what I will do to change the thing. And I say that the society has so many problems. We cannot all solve them. There is food, there is hunger and food, there is education,
Depression,
and all that, mental health issues, But all of them, when you look closely, they boil down to leadership, you see?
Yeah.
So for me, I've been having that mentality that I want to be a leader. And the first place I'm going is back to my people, because we have so many problems, and as a minute indigenous kind of people, not many people really care about us. So I'm really passionate about my people. And from the word go, when Miss R started opening doors for me, anytime I have a chance to pitch about something, it will always be, there's this community in Taveta, there's a girl I know in Taveta, there's a school I know in Taveta, and that's what I do, and that's what I want to do. Doesn't mean I'm not in Kenya at large, but my people also need to be at a place before I look at charity begins at home.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. There's a perception that people from the coast are lazy. Let's not use the word lazy. They're slow in doing their things.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that the coast region have very strong women. And where you come from, a few years ago, we had a very strong young politician, Joyce Lee. When you speak you speak passionately about your people, 400,000, that's almost 0.1% of the population if you had 47 million. Joyce was aggressive. Joyce was young, but stood the time of leadership. I'm just proud every other time I see that empowerment that pageantry bring. People haven't understood what pageantry gives you after you leave pageantry. Maybe probably because we don't show or give the world out there what we go through before we get into that stage. It's just like police and military. Whatever they go through during the boot camp, they don't understand. But that's what makes them what they are. All we see is them marching. All we see in pageantry is us doing beautiful catwalk. Yes. Miss University Africa, Kenya, is one of the leading pageants in this country, and we go through aggressive boot camp. One of the things that I would like to ask you, or you tell the people, the process that you go through before you get into that stage. Most of the girls want to give up, but after the pageant they realize what I went through I would not have been the same if I didn't go through it. So tell us about your training and your boot camp and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was tough. First, let me just shout out to Madam Debbie Oyugi, wherever she is. Hey, thank you. I can say it's not a walk in the park. It's not something that you wake up in the morning and you get crowned. No, it entails a lot of work. If you want something, you go for it. And nothing comes easy. So the training is always tough. I won't lie to you. You have to push yourself. No matter how many times you see like you can't do it, you have to bring yourself up and do it. It's not easy. It's never easy. It will never be easy. Yeah. So like for Miss University, where others quitted the last day of of the competition. And you know, when you quit, it means like, why did you even start doing it? So there's no point of quitting when you know that this is something you started. So you have to start what you finish, because the end product is always positive. Yeah.
Great, you've explained it very well. Debbie Oyugi is one of the leading choreographers this country have. Debbie was first runners-up in 2010 Mr. and Miss University Kenya, and she realized probably her power that God has given her is into mentoring and helping the young people. You said just about guys quitting. I think the same choreographer was one of your choreographers.
She was.
Vibe.
Oh God.
One of the things that you learned, so probably in your many pageants, that probably changed your way of looking at pageantry. Tell us, she's talked about strictness and stuff.
Yeah.
What did you learn from Debbie?
Oh, first of all, yes, Debbie was very tough, and I think she has the right to be tough on us.
Yeah.
What pageantry taught from Debbie? Okay, there are the basics. There are other basics that we know, that as a queen, as a leader and all that, you have to be punctual. You have to carry yourself in good light. You have to know how to speak, you know. It's all about your image and the brand you carry. And most of it doesn't come from just the outside look. It has to come from inside. You have to, you know, carry yourself with grace also from the inside. Yeah, you know, from your emotions and feelings. That's where it all comes from. But what I learned is mental health and making it really strong. Because when she's talking about girls quitting the last day, I'm just laughing and I'm like, you're not saying we cry every day. We cry every day.
You have to be strong.
You have to really be strong in this industry. It's not hard. There was one day I was going through Reddit. Sometimes, I'm kind of the kind of weird people who Google just random shit every time, Sorry. So this time I was in Google. I don't know what I was Googling exactly, but I ended up on a thread on Reddit. And it was about people and their perception and pageantry from the aquarium view, from the outside view. And they thought that these girls, they're just glitz and glamour, there's beautiful people on the runway and all that. Then the most beautiful comment I had was from a dude. And he was saying that he never saw the pageant girls as anything, just for the industry to look pretty and all. Until one day he met this beautiful girl. She was single and he thought he wants to date her, And then later, he finds out that this girl, she has ticked all the boxes, but she's a pageant girl. And now he's like, now really, what is this? So he's like, okay, let me give it a chance. I'm open-minded. I see what is it about. And he was like, he has never seen a group of strong girls like the pageant girls. Because people don't know what we go through behind the scenes. You have to prove your intelligence. You have to prove your temper. You have to prove your ability to think fast, solve a problem. You have to prove your creativity. You have to prove a lot of things. Now, in the normal world, how many ladies out here are just working and they have a certain period of time to prove all of this at once? Very few get to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like pageant girls have earned their spot, and their mental space is very, very strong. And I hope for all of them to have them strong because, it's needed.
I think the world strive on negativity. The pageant has not been given the publicity that we actually need to be given. Now, I'd give two example. In my last episode, I was talking about the first beauty queen was Esther in the Bible. And there's too much relationship between what you read in the Bible, Quran, and all this religion that relates with pageantry. You have to be loving. The Bible tells me, love your neighbor as you love yourself. You cannot be a beauty queen if you can't love. If you can love, you can give back. Number two is one of the things when we're talking, one of your trainer, Debbie now is, she's a pastor. Back in Western, and still a choreographer, beauty pageant choreographer. And the other person that I know who is also a trainer in pageantry is Odada Okelo, who is also a pastor. This whole Odada was Mr. Kenya in 2002 when I was still organizing Mr. and Miss World. So there's a deep relationship between the connection between spiritually and pageantry. And you can only know about it when you're deep in this industry. And like I said before my last statement, all we know about is that glamorous looking girl walking through the pageant, walking through the catwalk, and she looks nice in those clothes, but not knowing exactly what they've gone through.
Oh my God.
So one of the things we're going to do when we come back for the next part of this session is talk about when you're almost cracking and going down. Like, I know Debbie can be very tough. You do your squats on your heels, you are late for a minute, she'll kick you out of the pageant. I've seen girls cry.
You cry.
And you're not going on my catwalk because I do not believe in disrespectful leadership. So number one is we have to take it as leadership. People have not taken us serious as the pageant group or talent. As I don't think there's a place where people are disciplined like in pageantry. People know about football because it's been long around. People know about the military. People still don't. Africa still, okay, mostly some Asian country. I think after I got out of Europe, in the last decade, Asia has done very well. Thailand, Philippines, India, they're in all the pageant and the government, the people. Like if you go for any pageant and there's a Filipino on social media, I would say voting and stuff,
Yeah.
you'll never catch up with the need. Africa, we are there. You can see a Kenyan flag after 20 minutes, but the next you see Filipino. Yeah. So I think government and us as a people need to push this narrative.
stand out.
When you listen to Grace personally talking about what she got from pageantry, then you'll understand how beautiful pageantry changes your life from 0 to 100. So thank you so much for listening to us. Don't go away. Just take your cup of tea and get back, and you'll get to learn more about pageantry and leadership. They don't go, I mean, pageantry and leadership is one thing. You cannot separate them. See you in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jim Getani, a fashion model, participating in the Nakuru Fashion Week.
Hi, I'm Magdalene Takangiro. I'm 22, student at Kabarak University. I'm happy and grateful to be part of Nakuru Fashion Week.
Hello, my name is Jojo Walid. Today's judge at Nakuru Fashion Week. For today, I'd like to say thank you to the models who have appeared here, and thank you to the crew, Mambazuka and everybody. I welcome you to the main show happening this coming March here in Nakuru. Thank you.
So good afternoon. My name is Justolo. I'm a male model based in Nairobi. This is my first time in Nakuru. I'm very proud, courtesy of Pambazuka Events, and I hope to see you in the main event.
Welcome back again to Sash Style. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, you're missing a lot. The next leadership generation is pageantry. Like Grace said, she wants to go into leadership. Madam Ivy also talked about leadership. And there's no better leadership when you've started knowing leadership at a competition. We still do not believe in our electoral commission, but again, leadership does not mean you sit in parliament or county assembly. Leadership is change. That's why I was talking about Grace, because I've seen her leadership in that community. Leadership means you must be able to plan yourself. I know you're in campus when you won this the pageant. You are leaving for 3 weeks, 4 weeks for Miss University. Some people think, the question is, how do they get time to parade themselves? They'll use the word parade themselves and school. Tell us how you manage both this time-taking pageantry and university class, your classes.
Okay, I always say that when you fail to plan, you
Planning to fail.
plan to fail. So without planning, you won't see any results. So as a pageant model, I always plan myself very well with my calendars. I always have my diary. I analyze everything that I do. Being a firstborn daughter, I also have some responsibilities that I have to do. So when I wake up in the morning, I do 1, 2, 3. I plan my schedule. This is what I'm going to do today, tomorrow, even the next day, God willing. And it's not easy multitasking pageantry and maybe education. First, I want to appreciate myself because I graduated last year, and it was not easy, trying to balance between, my studies and pageantry. But if you plan yourself well, everything will work out. Nothing is impossible, of course. Even the rich people don't sleep. These people work 24/7. Because they know the poor are also not sleeping. So it's not like a competition for everyone, but I can say that everyone has to plan themselves well, especially if you're a pageant king or queen. You have to balance everything. Of course, there's some things you have to do outside pageantry, and yeah, you just have to plan yourself well.
Grace,
Yeah.
very key. One thing you've spoken about the discipline. Probably you are disciplined before, but the discipline you got from the training at pageantry is out of this world. One of the things you guys talked about, if you're late in Debbie's class, you'll never get to another class.
My goodness.
Never.
That's good training for leadership. I feel heartbroken and want to go and just say, one day when they have all those parliamentarians, I see them when the president is opening parliament, the parliament is full to the brim. I watch parliament and I'm in pain because I can see 20 people out of 300 members of parliament. We pay them with our tax money, number one. There's no discipline. I don't know the speaker's head. I think there's failure in that leadership.
Yeah.
If then we get that leadership from that pageantry where there's too much discipline that if you miss, then you're not going to serve your people, then you'll have brilliant leadership.
Leadership.
My question is, do you subscribe to absentees in career you do? Because I know the reason why I was asking this question direct to you, I know sometimes you work off your brain because you have to be in Taita and back to Nairobi. You have to decide, do I do this and miss this? So how do you plan yourself to make sure you don't disappoint anyone?
Thank you for that question. It's very important. Before we went on break, you brought out also the leadership aspect of it. And I remember thinking that I will have to make this very clear that when we talk about leadership, you also mentioned it. We just necessarily don't mean those who sit in parliament, who we elected and all that. Because outside here, some people like in Taita Taveta, they'll be like, Grace, do you like want to run for a political seat? Are you going for women rep? Are you going for this? And I'm like, no. I am a leader in my own accord, and I do not need any seat. I do not need any title to be a leader. I am already leading in my little space that I am in, you see? So what kind of discipline I got from pageantry that makes me stand out? That sort of leadership is not any sort of leadership. I like to call it servant leadership. The moment we train people to be servant leaders, we should stop having high numbers of absentees in parliament. We should stop having other MPs who don't know what are some of the intricacies happening in their constituencies, MCAs not being in touch with their community people. You know, we have some MCAs who are like servant leaders. They know each village, they know what's happening. They know, yes, they cannot split themselves and be everywhere, but there's that time you have to be a servant leader that people can know that, no, Grace at least is aware of this, Grace does this, Grace, in their own little way, and also being very open with the people you're serving is one key aspect. And being a servant is you being there. You know, when you're a servant leader, you're there to serve them. You're not their God. If anything, they're your God. You are serving them. So even taking yourself to a humble position to be like the villagers back in your community and all that is such a good thing. And I would say servant leadership, that's my take home.
Great. You said it very well. I was watching the president yesterday in Oma Bay. Oma Bay is an opposition region. The president has been there twice. And I listened to the Senator Kajwang talking direct to the president saying, we have 47 governors. But at the end of the leadership 5 years, there's some who would have done nothing, but there's some who will be praised because they've changed their county to a Dubai, to an island that did not have anything that has become something because their servant leadership. I remember Kajwang saying that so well. And thank you for bringing that servantness kind of leadership. Madam Ivy,
Yes.
Dan, they say a lot of beauty queens. In fact, if you Google Wikipedia, most of them do not make it to the runway, the fashion modeling runway. When I was reading about one of the greatest beauty queens that I admired was Miss World Kenya 1984. This was Khadija Adams. Khadija Adams was the first Kenyan girl. She's a grandmother now, but to be a continental winner. She was Queen of Africa. And they say immediately she left London, she was already spotted to go to New York. She's the only African girl up to date that has graced the covers of Cosmopolitan. Those guys who understand fashion will understand where she comes from. This girl was not picked from Nairobi. She's a Nyeri girl that went and ruled the world out there. Now, my question goes to Ivy.
Yes.
Sometime last year, I sent you to Guinea to go and represent Kenya in a fashion event and promoting cotton in Africa. You met almost 40 other countries.
Wow.
How was it as you experience as a beauty queen now? You need to change into this high fashion model.
First, I want to thank you so much for that opportunity. I swear that was a life-changing opportunity.
Congratulations.
No, I never saw it coming, but I can tell you hard work pays. So as for me, I can say that when you discover that you want to join pageantry, especially modeling at large, this means it's either you are a pageant, a beauty queen, let me say, or a high fashion beauty queen, or a commercial modeling. Like modeling is, I think it's a wide field. So you just have to realize, you just have to discover where you're just comfortable being at. So as for me, I chose to just, I used to focus on like beauty queen mostly, but I realized that there's more to being a beauty queen in this field. So when I got that opportunity and I went to Guinea, I realized that Africa is really blessed, especially Kenya. We are really blessed. By the way, we are a country like Nigeria. They were so good at high fashion. I think some countries they have actually focused on more of high fashion than pageantry. Like South Africa, they have focused on both, but mostly a beauty pageant. So I can say as a model, you have to be just perfect in all the field, because you never know which opportunity will come out your table, and you never know what can come on your way. So yeah,
I keep talking about leadership, and I think Africa is ready for leadership. This was to bring back the cotton production in Africa.
In Africa,
we've used a lot of used clothes from Europe. I know where Maganga comes from. I've been there, and there's this organization called Wildlife Works. This Muzungu has over 40,000 acres, and he does he does the clothes for EPZ. So they do stuff here and send them to Europe and sell them at thousands of shillings. But the work power is Africa, the stuff, textile is from here, and everything is going out to Africa. One of the things Ivy has not talked about is the experience in Guinea. She probably would have been from where I come from, Nyanza, then that's what she would have started. Ivy, Africa is changing, and there are 3-4 countries that have been taken over by young people. This is Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso. In fact, Burkina
Especially
Faso right
West.
now has the youngest president. The guy is 35 years. One of my people that I look up to was the late Sankara. Sankara was the president of Guinea. Of Burkina Faso. Before Burkina Faso was called Upper Volta. When he got to the president, I changed it. He was at the same age as Toure, who is the president now, the former military. He was also a military. But one of the things that Sankara changed was try and build the agriculture back in Africa. He said there's no way we are going to teach farmers in boardrooms how to do fertilizers. He took his people to the farm. This is what you want, do 3 steps, 4 steps and stuff like that. But what I was talking about Guinea, and I say Kenya is blessed, she talked about blessed. Akina Ivy got into Burkina Faso 2 days before the borders were closed. A lot of African countries were locked out because what happened after they got in, the former president who was overturned escaped prison. So they had to close the borders. So people slept in Mali for 2-3 days before they came. Us, because of our blessing, were in the country. She's not said, and this is what I was going to say, everything was sponsored by the new president for Africa to go and see exactly what's happening. Now, in other countries in Africa, the leadership want to carry their kids and family to go and discuss. This man says, let's see Africa, let's discuss our people. When they got there, it was a presidential escort. They were escorted by the military. The models and the designers felt that power. And that's what we say, why would they carry models? There's something about the power that models have. When I was here with Odada, and he brought a very different perspective of pageantry. He says, modeling. The first pageant organizer was God himself. The 2 models were Adam and Eve. Those were his models. When they undressed, now the modeling ended. So
it's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in modeling, and that's why Ivy and Musioka and the guys that I sent to Guinea were treated like kings and queens. So a story for another day. She'll tell you she learned a lot, but people, the Luya people don't have that pride like where I come from. We would have taken 1 hour to talk about that experience.
The convoys,
the
military
the guns and stuff.
and she was having fun, I could see.
So I think one of the things that we need to embrace as Africa as a continent is try and make sure we are in the front line in everything. I know a few times we've won, like Miss World. In fact, Miss World, we've only won once in 71 years. That was Agbani Derego from Nigeria. But it's because the support is up there. And if you're given support, we'll take over from Europe. And I think this is the time for us to take it. Grace, I don't know your journey. I know we've done some testing jobs, we've done some promos and stuff like that. People ask me, what do you get in this career apart from now networking, knowledge and stuff like that? I think there's money to be made, but I want to hear, apart from doing the county, the people you love, has pageantry given you opportunity to be able to make money of the knowledge that you have?
Yes, it has quite a lot. First of all, I think one of the very first classes you get into modeling and pageantry is personal branding. And right now, with the whole conversation of forming brands online, maintaining our image online so that it can be monetized and all, that is a key aspect of it. So I get shown how to carry myself. what is expected of me, what I am supposed to have as a front, and I think that has worked well for me. I am able to, like now what we're doing, I'm able to express myself. I'm able to be in a podcast. Also, as she said earlier, that modeling is quite broad. And I know we're talking about sashes, this is pageantry, and most of us branch into other forms of modeling. She branched into high fashion, promoting cotton industry. I branched into commercial modeling without knowing. Without knowing, because as she said, you have to be ready. You don't know where this opportunity just find you. So I was just there modeling, and I met this lady. She was in the cast of, was it called, she was called Zalena. I don't know what show that was. I remember. It was quite very popular. That one. Then I met her and it was like, we need to go and do a shoot somewhere, and it was for Mother's Day. When she called me there, I went and found it was Vivo Woman. And I was like, you called me to a shoot at Vivo Woman, and I did not know I am coming to Vivo Woman. And she casually tells me, well, we're here now, let's go.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I went and met the brand manager, and we started shooting. From there, I shoot for Vivo Woman. I shoot for the shops there too. I also shoot for other brands as well. Those are among the two highest I can say I can talk about. So when it comes to branding, that's what Pageantry has given me commercially. And that is, as you said, apart from the community projects I do, because of course we do get our stipends and our allowances from it. And, our take home that we can be proud of.
Yeah.
Great. You said it very well. I don't even know what to add. But for those guys who still are not following, this program is called Sash Style. Sash is pageantry. Style is about fashion, about the runway and stuff like that. He said anybody can be a model. I was telling in the last episode, those guys who watched, one of the biggest model in this country we've had was not the normal model that we see. That was the late Papa Chandra, may his soul rest in peace. I don't know if you guys remember the World Cup of 2010 when he did the Fanta ad.
I can never forget.
I
He
know.
was renewed and renewed. He won awards in Atlanta, Georgia, the headquarters of Coca-Cola. So again, anybody can be a model. Not everyone can be a beauty queen.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. You don't need to utter a word of English, French, the Luo, to be in New York Fashion Week, London, Tokyo, and make millions. But you cannot be a beauty queen if you cannot articulate yourself properly. So there's a thin line. It's like oil and water between pageantry and fashion modeling. Madam Ivy.
Yes.
There's something that comes with the glory in university pageantry. One of the biggest times is when they have the graduation, when they have function. The person that carries the flower with the chancellor is the Miss the university. We don't take that for granted, and not anyone will do it. And now when you start understanding the magnitude of that, then you know how big this is. I want to ask you, as a queen, apart from just being the current Miss University Africa, one of my guests, I think 3 episodes ago, was a former Miss University. She was the first one to be the queen, Carol Nemo.
Yeah, Carol.
And she came to Miss University in 2018, and she was first runners-up that year. So that means there's something your school is doing that these other universities are not doing. So the students have understood the importance of pageantry. Tell me the feeling. I remember the last time this actually happened. You're with the first, welcoming the first daughter of this country. How was it? I want you to encourage and talk to the young people that feel still this is a waste of time. They would rather go for university politics than pageantry.
First and foremost, allow me to thank my university, of course, the Great Cooperative University of Kenya, for the support, full-time support. they have always been there for us. Especially when I won Miss Cooperative University, I had a task to ensure that, encourage any other girl or any other boy from our school that they can venture into modeling and discover who they are and gain a confidence maybe. So our university has been supportive, and we actually have a modeling club in school. So it is having a modeling club in school, actually that says a lot, because not all universities have such a great chance to showcase their talents, And as for us, the VC was always aware of what we do, especially when we had any event, whether it's an internal event or external event. They always came through with 100% support from the school. The dean of students is aware. The patron, we have a patron in school, Mr. Njogu, he's aware of what we do. So I think they saw an opportunity, they saw a great potential in us, especially when I won Miss University Africa Kenya. I think this was an eye opener for most of the most of the university officials in our school. They saw that, so modeling can be something that markets our school, and this is something that is
they're sleeping on.
Yeah, we've been sleeping on it for quite some time. So let's support these young people. Let's make them realize they can do something for the society, because it's not just walking on heels. It's not just dressing for the suits and dinner dresses. No, it's about what you bring to the table. It's about what you bring for the university. It's about how you carry your flag for the school, because I believe, as for me, I delivered 100% for my university. Bringing the crown home was such a big achievement for me, and I believe that this encouraged a lot of young people out there. And right now we have an event coming up, and I believe the school has also done the same, so they're also expecting more, especially when we are going to have Mr. and Miss Universities Kenya coming up in a week's time. They actually believe that we will still maintain the crown. So to any young person out there, I want you to know that nothing is impossible. It's a matter of stepping out of your comfort zone and believing in yourself. And anyone is always ready to support you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You've said it very well. One of the things that I think some of the university have not understood, the magnitude this beauty pageant brings to the students. There's some universities that have not taken it serious. Like I'm not calling names, but I was in a university as a judge. And the student leaders wanted me to give them a winner that did not win. I fought. I gave them the results. This announced their person. I went back to the university and talked to the dean and told them this is the first downfall for your university, and we can see your university going up. Good dean brought me and the student leaders, and we got to understand each other, and the winner was given her rightful crown and sash. So I think that this leadership must be able to start from university, and if we get many of these queens at the university, we're going to go places. Grace, I saw you one of the pictures in the past episode. Your friend was here, Yulene, and you were in a picture during Miss Earth, and you're with a great friend of mine called Daniel Juma and Steve Mwendo. Now, Daniel Juma was the first Mr. University Kenya in 1995. He's now the CEO of Global Peace. When you talk to him, ask him about Miss University and represented Kenya in Korea. That's World Mr. and Miss University. Kevin Ombajo, the late friend, may his soul rest in peace, the owner of True Black, that started a company that's one of the biggest marketing company in Kenya, was Mr. University, Mr. USAU in 1998. Went to America for Mr. and Miss University and came back home first runners-up. Wau Kagwe was Miss University 1999, went to America and became first runners-up in Mr. and Miss University. So we can talk about that leadership, and a lot of people do not know about these past people that have made impact. Now, one of the leading advertising company in this country is called Scanner Group. The leader of the Scanner Group Global is Madam Patricia Idao. Patricia was Miss World 1989 or 87.
Oh.
She's been a CEO at East African Breweries. You don't just become a CEO at East African Breweries. She's been a CEO at L'Oreal. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, L'Oreal.
Yeah,
Paris.
L'Oreal.
You tway.
Yo! Before she left, before she came to Scanad. But then we still get that from her coming to Kenya, representing Kenya at that level in the Miss World, and coming back to Kenya, and now with her education, the CV changes. And I keep telling everyone, once you go with, let's say, somebody who got first honors and probably you didn't perform very well, but there's that extracurricular, I was in the stage as Miss this university, this person, you'll have a higher chance of getting the job than that person more in it because of that relationship.